John. Very, very potent, especially with the Terrorblade matchup. Grimstrike, however, will be committed by TNC.
I like seeing that from TNC. You get so much value with just the Bounty Hunter, so it's going to be much easier to spam out those tracks very fast. You can burst down 2 heroes, have tracks on both of them at the same time, and of course you can bounce your Shuriken Toss a lot more times when that soul binds up. So a lot of value from that Grimstroke coming out here, and no other solid combination just yet. The Underlord doesn't particularly do much. I guess Inkswell, while you have that pit out, is pretty great. Beyond that, nothing really strongly synergistic there. Adroit do manage to dip into the Death Prophet, so they've got all the region in the world now. You have to be very cautious about any sort of Spirit Vessel pickup from TNC. I'd say that's going to be a priority pickup for them if they want to mitigate this sustain Adroit has. Adroit is going to have a better time pushing as well. They need to play around the Metamorphosis on the Terrorblade and the Exorcism on that DP, but if they can, they should be able to melt these towers much faster than TNC can. If they pick up the Riki, it's a solid core. We've seen it really come into popularity recently, can really start to melt those backline heroes. The heroes like the Oracle and Tusk are not going to have the best of times, although there are ways to play around that, but it does take a while for that Riki to come online.
Right. The DP, however, John, did receive a couple nerfs. I believe mostly with the movement speed bonuses from Exorcism. It is a bit lower now. Shouldn't really affect it too badly. I mean, honestly, like it's not. Most people probably wouldn't even realized she got a movement speed buff from using Exorcism, so I doubt it'll affect her very much. Of course, we do have one more ban before we get to see the final pickups. I gotta ask you while we're waiting for those bans, John. Who's looking better to you? Because personally, I look at Adroit and I'm kind of sitting there going, if they have a free lane with that Terrorblade, things are gonna get a little bit concerning for TNC.
Definitely. It's going to be rough for TNC to try to match up that Terrorblade. The Riki as a core doesn't really eat through these high Agi heroes as well. Like Terrorblade has high natural armor, he has good scaling in Agi. It's always going to be a bit of a pain to eat through all of that armor as the Riki. Just in terms of raw damage output, it's going to be a bit of an odd matchup. I think early game, TNC should be able to keep a lid on Adroit. They're going to have to watch the timings Adroit wants to play around. It looks like they want to play aggressive with their Tusk, with their Oracle, and with the DP. Just hit level 6 on maybe the Tusk and the DP, or even just the Terrorblade and DP. Start pushing down when you have level 3 Metamorphosis and level 1 Exorcism. You have the sustain for it from the Oracle. It does take a while to build into a Spirit Vessel, so there's really not going to be anything to stop them from getting that push on. TNC, they're going to need to buy some space. They're going to need to build up through their Bounty Hunter, get those track kills racked up. We have seen Bounty Hunter Riki on the same team before, and it does make it a bit more economic for Adroit to invest in lots of sentries. You're going to be spotting out potentially 2 heroes on a map, so it does give you a lot more strength per sentry you buy. It does make it much easier for Adroit to commit to that, which means you're not going to get as much scouting potential from the Bounty Hunter, perhaps, so that is something TNC has to watch out for as well.
No, can't disagree with that, John. Of course, we are still waiting on that final ban from TNC. Adroit, they did end up getting rid of the Queen of Pain, and it only makes sense when you've got a DP mid. You don't really want to have to go up against the Quap. TNC, they will get rid of the Kunkka pickup now. And what's left? How do we finish this? It does seem like they are waiting for their own mid core now up against that Death Prophet. Of course, it is still, like, the Death Prophet is flexible. We have seen it being run in the offlane quite a fair bit recently, so wouldn't be too surprising if they chose to switch that up and put it in the offlane. The thing is with it though, it's not really the strongest offlane pick. Like it doesn't,
It has a weird presence in the offlane. I think what's really interesting with this draft is that none of the spirits are banned out. So Void Spirit, Ember Spirit, and Storm Spirit are all viable options here for either side. I think it's going to be stronger for TNC to pick one of those high mobility heroes. Adroit's going to have a rougher time, mainly because you already have the Underlord root, which you have to play around. The silence from the Riki can be potent, although there is nothing more instantaneous than that. So there's still some leeway. It's still not the easiest time. I wouldn't be surprised if TNC opted for maybe an Ember Spirit to help them deal with a Terrorblade. I think there's a lot of value in that pick here. To just melt through that armor. Instead, they go with a Sniper.
Disgusting.
This looks like a pub draft. Sniper Riki, Underlord. I mean, that just basically looks like every 4K game you queue into sometimes. And the sniper is an interesting last pick. Should have a decent lane. Gonna be rough in the early game, mind you. Like that's not the best
10
matchup.
seconds
Sniper
remaining.
is a bit iffy in his first 3 levels, but once you start to pick up, you
5
can
seconds remaining.
hold your own at the very least. You're not gonna be finding too many kill opportunities. You can kind of work this nicely. Like, say Soulbind comes out, you have 2 tracks on, you can 360 no scope 2 heroes. So you get a lot of value from the sniper if you play your cards right. This should help them escalate with the bounty hunter with that burst.
Choose your
Adroit
hero.
pick up the Batrider. That's a great way to go into the backline, pick up
Mm.
RML, put him out of the fight, drag him close where he doesn't want to be, and it's just a really different set of drafts from both teams.
It is. It is. I gotta say, I do like the Batrider finishing, right? Because even though it's obviously picked up to try and catch out that sniper with the lasso, it works well up against the Gabby Ricky. You know, Ricky is already a. It has blink strike, but it doesn't have the greatest turn rate. It doesn't, it doesn't have the greatest time farming. You got a Batrider spamming sticky napalm. It's gonna suck, to say the least. So Adroit, a nice finishing for them. Both drafts, I agree, look very, very different to what we're used to seeing. I suppose I should ask you, John, because we are at the end of the draft, and there are some high stakes in today's series.
Mm.
Who looks better to you?
I'd have to say Adroit. I think their lineup
Okay.
just fits into their playstyle much stronger. The combinations they can have don't take too much to get online. It doesn't take too much effort to have them work out as well. You have a lot of potency with Bach and Batrider. As you mentioned, even Gabby's going to be a pretty easy target, but I think the main one's really Armel. Just a very targeted pick to that sniper. We have seen snipers struggle against well-positioned Batriders, and Bach is a very good Batrider. Seen him play that hero a lot. He can always just hide away. You never know where he is, even if you can scout for that shrapnel. So Bach is always going to be finding Armel, and you're going to lose a lot of value from that sniper net.
Well, with that, John, we do go into the first game of the night. TNC versus Adroit. Game number 1. Should be a fun one.
Prepare for battle.
We'll see how it all pans out. Of course, we do have to bring out the ever more important betting odds that we do have. Give me 1 sec, John. Oh, yes. There you have it. TNC Predator. They're the favorites in this matchup for now, John, but in terms of favorites, I mean, it's not by much. Like, you're looking at about 33 cents there. It's not the biggest deal. So it's kind of a 50-50 matchup between these two. And I can't disagree. Like, you look at the group stages, you look at how they kind of their standings right now, and you can't really disagree with those odds. Though down at the bot lane, there could be a very early first blood. Though nice snowball dodge on the Inkswell, but they are completely surrounded here onto Boomy, and Boomy should end up dying. And well, does he? No, he does not. They didn't have another blink strike available on Gabby at the time. He couldn't finish the job off. And although he'll have to run all the way back to the fountain, they do avoid giving away that first blood.
You could still count that as a small win for TNC, just wasting a bit of that time from Boomy. And at the very least, they do secure their runes. But again, they miss out on that first blood opportunity. TNC's not going to be too chuffed. Adroit's not going to be too pissed off about just wasting a little bit of time there.
Well, we'll get into the laning stage. Of course, we do see Gabby on that Ricky. Ironically enough, you'll have March there as well on the Bounty Hunter. And looks like he'll be just trying to set up for a bit of early harassment in this off lane. He'll have Tims there as well. You've got this amazing combination in the Bounty Inkswell, which can be quite devastating. In fact, are they already going? Yeah, they are, Bok. He's just not allowed to follow up his creep wave. March is going to really give it to him. Bok.
Yeah,
Or Boomy, actually. He's going to find a nice courier.
Yeah, I have to say, I really like how much TNC is investing on this lane. You really want to make sure that Ricky has a good time, and that's a good movement from Boomy to find that courier. But Bok's already going to have to expend a lot of his regen. Down to just 2 tangos left is really just going to be drained here, and this investment from TNC does tell me that they do understand what the timing on this Ricky is going to have to be, and you don't really want to have him trying to contest the battle. That's just not a laning matchup that will be easy for the Ricky in any single combination of heroes. I
mean, you look at KP as well in the Underlord. They really gave it to him with that first metamorphosis timing, Natsumi just moving forward with CML and just harassing the hell out of KP. In fact, they're going to go for more now. Natsumi does spot him out. He'll leave him be for now, as KP is just going to try and soak XP in the tree line, throw out a Firestorm and try to force out the wave. And CML is just going to haunt this man. His Fortune's End will fly out, but there's going to be no follow-up to it. But it seems both teams agree that these offlaners do not deserve any sort of farm. And they will ensure that they have the most atrocious time possible this game one.
Definitely. It's both of that, and again, the safe lane farm for the cores are looking pretty darn good. Pretty much uncontested. You do see a lot more denies on Natsumi. He is behind by a couple of last hits, but that's not the biggest issue. March is being chased down though, has 4 stacks, is forced to salve up, but really going to be under pressure. Dips into his invis. Should be.
Well, have a look at that mid lane as well. Armel and Mac. So far, things are going very, very well for Armel, and you'd imagine this should be the way the lane goes altogether, right? Like, the sniper really shouldn't suffer up against the Death Prophet.
Definitely. His weakest points are his level 1 to 2. We do have Armel at level 3, so he has superior range. Doesn't need to expend the mana to pump out that harassment, and headshot's just super annoying to play against. There's no counterplay for Mac. He's just going to have to pop it every single time.
What lane? Boomy. Going behind the T1 tower. Or rather, he was behind his own T1 tower, but TNC are diving him now, not really wanting to give all this creep XP away. Boomy gonna go for a snowball. Gabby, he won't get that Inkswell proc. But instead, perhaps the goal into Bok now, where Bok is still trying to soak XP, but he's going to have to leave the lane. They're going to try and bring the Oracle in to at least get some XP here as CML going to dive in, but he is surrounded by creeps right now. He needs to get out of there. Gabby's going to blink in, and CML probably will die, though no. He gets a salve off on Boomy. He does take one of the tricks of the trade strikes, and they're going to try and turn this Gabby now. The one to have to TP, but the snowball will cancel that off Gabby. He'll be the first blood in this game, number 1, and CML will be the one to pick it up. And what a way to do it.
Oh, the aggression from TNC in trying to really bully out this lane doesn't pay off in the end. Adroit do finally get that rotation out. CML coming in was the edge they needed to match up against that Troy lane. They just had so much more control with that Oracle around. They lost the biggest here they could in that trade as well. Gabby just falling means he has to walk back into his lane, and he's missing out on the farm.
Well, Mac, he just finds the kill onto March. March looks like he was going to be the one to pick up the kill. Mac had a Fairy Fire on him and just popped it and turned around with the Crypt Swarm.
Oh,
Boomy now going to rotate here onto Armel. Can he actually get a strike off? He can, but there's no real follow-up to it. And still, with that kill on Mac, like the fact that he just found that Bounty Hunter, you could argue he's basically caught up in lane now.
Definitely. It's a nice little pickup for Mac. I think the key thing is that TNC, they're trying to play this hyper-aggressive kind of game that you would expect from Adroit, but the execution's falling a bit flat, and the biggest thing here is that March is not getting too much EXP in this bounty. So his progression on this here is going to be slow. That timing on the track is not going to be there.
Bok. Bot lane going to be chased down. Gabby just not going to complete the chase, and Bok will be able to TP out again. Only thing is, he did TP all the way to the fountain as he had no regen. And it's going to be a bit of a shame for him. He's going to have to make the walk of shame back towards that bot lane.
Yeah, he does get a bit of a refresh. It is going to give some time for Gabby to get some free farm, and you do deny some EXP and farm from Bok. So just a bit of a trade-off there. Still really aggressive lanes from both sides so far. They really don't want to give an edge, right? Since minute 0, they've been trying their best to zone out these safe lane cores and to zone out the offlaners as well. So far, it has tapered off a bit. You do see March finally rotating up top. We are kind of back to just dual lane.
We saw this from TNC from yesterday's series. Like, they just like to create all kinds of havoc in the first couple minutes, and then it just ends up going back to normal. We saw it again now. Still, at least you look at KP on the Underlord, he's been able to catch up in levels now. He's hit that level 5 mark, so he's sitting a lot prettier. Much more so than Bok, who's level 4 and is currently being dived. Blink Strike from Gabby, he's going to keep up this chase, but I don't think they can. In fact, they're going to go and try to turn this. Adroit, can you really do it? Gabby going to be the main target of Fortune's End, and Shards do connect
Man.
Bok. He'll be over with the Firefly, but they had stick charges. Gabby will heal up. Now they look to turn even more Boomy, trying to get out of there. Do you have another Blink Strike? It looks like you will in 5 seconds, and Boomy, he should be dead. Inkswell connects. Gabby, he will pick up a double kill. And Adroit, I mean, it was a bit of wishful thinking to try and go and try to counter that team fight.
Definitely. They are really trying to turn these things around, trying to invest just as much as TNC is in stopping these kills. The only thing that Adroit is kind of sacrificing here is that they're not shutting down KP as much as their own Batrider has been shut down. So Bok is going to have a pretty slow time building up. He's going to have to dip into that jungle, and he's already a level behind in comparison to KP. KP has his Soul Ring up, so even if he can't quite match up against Natsumi, Natsumi's presence is fairly strong. One-on-one, they're going to miss out on that opportunity.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, mid lane. What is going on here? Mel, he's getting dived and he's dead. Snowball as well. Going to jump onto Tim's. Mac was in it, and Tim's just can't sustain that. And now Adroit should be able to just grab the mid tier 1 tower for themselves with this exorcism. You know, we've seen Adroit do this before, John. They're very good at really revolving around their hero timings. And Mac really making full use out of that first ultimate.
Definitely. This is something that we don't see too often. A lot of times you are forced to expend that skill just to find kills. There is a rotation down bot though, Gabby.
He's got no way out. He's just dead. Natsumi joins in, and with the Metamorphosis, they're going to push another tier 1 tower. Even Mac, he found March again.
Just so much movement across the map. So much aggression coming out from
Mel?
Adroit.
He'll be okay. Luckily, he did have his support Grimstroke there to help him out, but they're going to lose their mid tier 1 and bot tier 1, and this is going to pretty much open up the whole Radiant jungle to the way of Adroit. And, well, KP, he's trying to find the top tier 1 tower, but Adroit, I mean, they've just found such amazing trades already, and they've got a 2k net worth lead at 8.5 minutes in. TNC, I don't think they can play this draft from behind. They need to try and catch up real quick.
They definitely. They need the gold up under Sniper. They're going to need some levels on March to start applying those trackles. They need Gabby to really take his time, buy his 2 items, the Diffusal and whatever else he wants to follow up on that, before Gabby's going to be a major issue in these fights. It's not like Natsumi. Natsumi can flip that Metamorphosis on, just take a tower, contribute to right clicks. The Ricky's just a lot more vulnerable and a full level behind. You're going to need to give Gabby that space. Really try to stop Adroit from taking over this jungle, or at the very least take over Adroit's jungle up top.
We'll try. Looks like Adroit's not even concerned about that. Boomy gonna get jumped here by Gabby, and Shrapnel will come in from Mel. Mac is gonna be there to help, and Snowball is gonna lock onto the Ricky, but Gabby with a nice dodge with the tricks of the trade, and they will eventually finish off that job with the assassinate from Mel. Gabby not having to dive any deeper.
You know, not to point out, well, not to really nitpick, but I believe Boomy could have dodged that with smoke. Like, I think the Ricky was out of range to break it. So could have dodged that, would have expended the smoke, but that would have denied a kill from the sniper. That's really the key thing. You are starting to give Armel a couple of things to play with. That is just 1 kill, but the sniper is a hero you really don't want to have bounce in. Once he's up and running, he's going to be an issue. You don't have enough farm on your Batrider just yet to deal with him with a blink. It's not going to be up anytime soon from our Bat.
It's going to be a while. So both teams back to the drawing board, just going to get back to farming. Mac, of course, he does have the Exorcism back up, but it's going to be a matter of when the meta's up, and it actually just comes off cooldown. So Natsumi, he's ready to go. If you did want to try and get another tier 1 or more so a tier 2 tower, in this case, you probably could try and go for it if you grouped up as 5 here for Adroit. Natsumi, he does have a siege creep down to that bot lane, so they may actually attempt this. As we do see KP using his Dark Rift. Where's he off to? No, he cancelled it off. He just thought he may have been in trouble. But instead, the side of Adroit, they go down bot. You have the Terrorblade, you have an Exorcism, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They go after the tier 2 tower.
It's going to be a very straightforward push for Adroit. Doesn't look like TNC's set up to even counterfight this one. All they have is Tim's. He's not going to be able to get that job done by himself. They are sort of posturing around that mid-tier 1, but Bach is there to at least de-push the lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not looking great. TNC, I mean, they've got great high ground defense if it comes to it, but you don't want to really get to that point. Still, they don't really have any answers to defend with this kind of draft they've gone for.
Yeah, my biggest issue with TNC right now is that they have really shafted March. He's still level 4 on Bounty Hunter. He's just about to hit 5. Does find a courier for his trouble, but you want that track to be up and running. He gets dusted up.
He's dead. March understands he's dead. He's going to just try and run, but Gabby jumps in. They'll jump onto CML. CML does have the false promise, so there's really no point in that. And now more rotations to come. Bok, he has the lasso. You want to make the play? There's no way to close the gap for Bok right now, so they won't chase any further. That'll make it a 3-7. All lanes still being forced in by Adroit. TNC just kind of stuck 5-manning, trying to find that mid-tier 1.
They can siege from afar with a sniper. It's just not a very fast process early on. The damage isn't quite there from an armed Mel. Just a slow chipping away at that tier 1. The one thing that really bothers me from TNC is that they have not pressured Natsumi. He stays in that bot lane, just farms up by himself, no supports around him, no vision from TNC to even watch that area. They do have one ward. The vision coverage is not as good as Adroit's, and this is something Adroit has been really maximizing. They know that TNC just aren't able to play in their own map.
Well, you look at both the top of the net worth boards. I mean, it's Terrorblade and DP. Like, and I agree with you. They haven't done anything to actually try and slow them down. Mel, he's just trying to desperately catch up on the sniper, and he'll have a Maelstrom up soon, so he will have that D push potential on the sniper. But it seems like that's kind of what they're locked into. Like, until they get those core items up on their core sniper, on the core Ricky, it just seems like they can't do anything.
No, they're gonna have to play the waiting game. They're gonna have to buy time for the Ricky and sniper. And the thing with that is that the 3 heroes you have left that don't need farm don't really strike me as the most synergistic set of combinations. Underlord, Grimstroke, and Bounty Hunter do not burst people down.
Oh, Tims, he could be in trouble. Fortune's End. Bok, he has lasso. Mac, meanwhile, will find March as well. But Tims getting lassoed up. He's going to try and run, but he understands he's probably dead. All those stick charges. It'll force CML to take the kill with the Purifying Flames. That's going to be 2 more deaths going the way of TNC, as they did also lose March in that mid lane. 2 Mac on the DP.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And, well, at least March is level 6 now, I guess. Like, now you've got track. Then again, we're at almost 15 minutes in. That is a very, very late level 6 timing if I've ever seen one.
Definitely. On the Bounty Hunter of all heroes, that's a hero you really want to push up to that point much earlier, but they're just not able to. They really have to stretch this map 10 as possible for their course, and the smoke from Adroit should find KP.
KP trying to run away. He is quite a fast demon. There's going to be a Pit of Malice. Gabby actually going to be there to help out Boomy. He will go down. Now the secondary support CML also dead. And Mac, he's a sitting duck right now. He'll use up, but he needs help, and help is not coming. Bok, he has left him alone. And TNC just sticking as 5, and it finally pays off. In fact, Natsumi, what are you doing there, sir? You're going to be chased down. Nice little shuriken toss there by March. Inkswell, Blink Strike, Gabby, he goes back in. Natsumi, you can't afford to die like that. Though they're going to try and trade here. Gabby will get stunned up, but now a Pit of Malice. TNC may be willing to go again. Gabby needs to blink out, but they are falling low on Adroit. Bok, he's been false promised up, but they have plenty of damage coming in. CML trying to keep him alive. Bok, he'll Firefly his way down the cliff. He will survive. CML, however, should not be so lucky. Or maybe he will be. He does manage to get out. However, mid lane Mac is still trying to fight Armel, who just TPs out of there. TNC, they actually ended up finding 4 kills throughout that. And John, that was worth 2.5k towards the side of TNC. And they do now take the net worth lead.
Yeah, those are really big kills going to the side of TNC. Adroit, they had a pretty nice early lead. They forced the fight in the weirdest spot possible. The snowball doesn't connect. Everyone from TNC was just up ahead joining in. Adroit was kind of split off there. Like you saw our Mac. He was on the lower ground on that ledge, and their Oracle was left up. So Gabby just blinks up, takes the Oracle out. All of that sustain is gone. You have Exorcism wasted now for Mac. It isn't too long until it's going to be back up, but they don't manage to find anything from that use there. And TNC is going to be so glad that they found us. They've got the Urn up and running on March, so he's going to build to that Spirit Vessel in a while. Maybe after a couple of or a couple or three track kills coming out on him. And this is the point when TNC can really start finding those kills that are super high value. They've got the track on. They've got a good amount of gold in their cores that they can start picking people off. They smoke up. They have scouted out Boomy up top. Got Gabby waiting for.
That's the thing. You find a kill, doesn't matter what it is, as long as you've got that bounty hunter around, it's worth a lot more gold than Boomy. Understands he is probably also dead. Tim's will be the one to take it with the Inkswell. It's just, even for a support, they made about 500 gold out of that Tusk kill. And it is just looking better and better as time goes on for TNC. I suppose you still do have to be very wary about Natsumi, though. He is still at the top of the net worth board and is still farming very well. About to hit that 9k mark in terms of net worth. But TNC, it seems like TNC are really putting all their chips in Armel on the sniper, right? To just be able to deal with him.
Definitely. It's down to Armel for now. Gabby will eventually reach a point where he can dish some damage out in the back line and take a lot of durable.
Gabby.
Oh, Gabby!
Yeah, it's a big kill. Gabby did just get his diffusal blade, and well, he doesn't really get to use it effectively. He does end up dying straight off the bat. You do have Adroit now with those ultimates back up, so they definitely could attempt to make another push, but they do appear to be very cautious about how this game is going now.
Yeah, they've got to scale it back a bit. You're not quite ready on Natsumi at this point. There's a lot of damage coming out from TNC that they can focus on this hero. He's not the tankiest at this point yet. All he has is really that Manta style and Ring of Tarask. Gonna need a lot more to be able to stand there and just fight. You do finally have the blink on Bach though, so you have an option for grabbing Armel or anyone else in the back line that's causing you issue.
Oh, Boomy. Inkswell tracked, and Lasso gonna come out, but the Soulbind was there from Tim's, and now you've got two heroes you can pick off, two assassinates to fly out. It'll be a 1-for-1 so far. Bok, he does manage to run away. But again, it's a track kill on the Tusk, and you'd argue that's more worth it. In fact, they found Natsumi now, forcing out the false promise from CML. They won't try any longer, and I don't know if the Sunder was necessary, Natsumi. But he does it just in case.
Better be safe than sorry. That's a lot of damage flying out onto him once more. You do see the precarious situation Adroit's if TNC focuses everything down.
Jumps in, no lasso available. They pop the Exorcism Snowball to be there, and they found Armel. The sniper's down, and now Gabby trying to trick the trade away, but he's got nothing to blink to. His team's left him. Nobody there to help as Bok was chasing them down on the Bat Rider KP. He'll be the next target. They'll Spirit Siphon him up, and KP has nowhere to go. And you know, you wouldn't expect Adroit to run in like that without Lasso. But they surprise everybody, including us, and they find a very successful team fight.
Yeah, they turn around after expending some big spells there. Like the False Promise was used earlier on. The Lasso was used way earlier on onto March. And they still decide to go in. They knew they had Metamorphosis. They were like, you know what, let's go. We have Natsumi, he's really strong. We're going to do the damage. They expended everything else anyway. And they go in, they manage to clean up. I'm surprised they left Gabby alone. He had no blink target as man.
Oh, Mac. It's down March again. March fuels up. The dust still active, and that'll be enough. Mac will find another kill. Natsumi will be able to pick up the Aegis on the Terrorblade. And suddenly, Adroit has the 3k net worth lead.
Yeah, just a huge swing going the way of Adroit. The patience for them to take that counter fight was massive. They managed to get a lot more in that trade. TNC are playing slightly from behind. They're going to have to watch out for that Aegis now. It gives them a lot more leeway on Adroit's side. Natsumi's not going to be as scared to stand forward. TNC has to be cautious about that bait because Natsumi's just so fine standing way far forward. It could be a problem for TNC if they're always going to be jumping onto that Terrorblade. like they have done it what 2 times now, almost, where the first time kind of works out, the second time doesn't. So they're gonna have to ensure that they have enough burst damage to eat through Natsumi twice over. It doesn't feel like they're quite there yet. You know, like the damage is still somewhat lacking from Armel. Gabby still only has his Fusel, and yeah, even March.
March, thank you for the Roshan timings, March. Always appreciate that. You write those down, John?
Oh yeah,
Might need them later on.
definitely. Yep, got them in my head. Thanks, March.
Thank you. Natsumi's gonna have the Aghanim Scepter up, John. What?
Yeah, that's gonna be.
What does
pretty
that even
interesting, so you
do?
don't see that. It has a
Radiant's
fear
middle tower
ability,
is
a
under
wave that
attack.
goes out in all directions and having fear. So
Okay.
that is pretty strong control. That is something Adroit lacks in wide AoE. They don't really have the best thing to follow up on that with wide AoE as well, but that gives them something.
I've never seen that one come out before. This is very new. This will be interesting. It's Natsumi. Gonna learn that KP is in the tree line. March is definitely there with him. They're gonna try and hunt this Terrorblade down. Natsumi, he does have friends around the area in his own jungle, but he does feel quite safe. He still has the Aegis anyway. Although, KP getting caught, does Dark Rift, he'll be perfectly fine. March will also be able to just run his way out, or he'll have to be a little bit careful. He shows himself now, and they know he's there, but CML.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Jump
Oh,
on.
Gabby.
Boomy, he actually does them in the right place. March gets caught out. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Bok and Mac do end up finding Gabby on the Ricky.
Radiant's top tower
2 more
is under
easy
attack.
kills for the side of Adroit, and they just seem to be thinking one step ahead of TNC. And by the way, John, the Ags is up now, so I get to enjoy
boy.
this. Well, I haven't seen it. This will be very interesting for me.
Dire's bottom
Yeah,
tower
that's
has fallen.
that's something we never see for the most part, at least in the games we've covered. So I'd love to see that effect. It does sound really strong. Like that wave of fear is strong. We've seen that effect before. Something we talk about with, say, Queen of Pain at 25. Just a lot of utility from that kind of spell.
Under attack.
The bot lane, we do see Armel. He does end up taking out the Tusk, so a nice little kill there onto Boomy. And, mid lane, Tim's. Gonna find Bok there with Armel. Armel doing a lot of damage, and Bok just cannot run away. Armel is starting to really hit hard on that sniper.
Dire's structures are fortified.
24 minutes in, they will finally be able to commit and claim that T1 mid tower.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower
TNC
has
going to
fallen.
be feeling a little bit better about themselves with that T1 going down.
Radiant's top tower
Gives them a
is
lot more
under
control
attack.
back in the map. Should allow them to get a couple of rotations in. Something we didn't talk about from Adroit though. Boomy did finish up his own blink earlier on, so you have a lot of ways of saving people out in a tight spot. We haven't seen it to great effect just yet. We haven't seen Adroit really leverage your blink daggers on even Bok right now to full effect just yet. So we should be looking forward to seeing that. Again, they still have the Aegis. You'd think that you'd want to make a move while that's up, but Adroit just doesn't feel compelled to take a 5v5. They've been finding the bigger pickoffs. They've been clearing the objectives off the map. It is fairly even in terms of towers taken, but that one tower advantage does give Adroit just a little bit more reach.
KP be in trouble. Bok doesn't want to commit, and now Gabby's going to show himself on the Ricky. Bok falling very, very low. He did have the Essence Ring, which does allow him to survive. In fact, are they going for more? Yeah, they are. There's the Metamorphosis coming out. Natsumi does claim a kill onto Tim's and now has the Terror Wave.
Oh yeah.
Would love if it told you how long it feared, but it is Dota after all. We can't have that. The bounty does also get caught out. March does go down.
The Aegis expires though, so Natsumi's not going to have that second life. Going to have to be a bit cautious as they go for this tier 2 push.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Wow, Mel gonna find Boomy by himself in the Radiant side jungle apparently.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Not sure, really sure what Boomy was doing there in the first place, but we're just trying to get a few wards down. He will lose his life.
Fallen.
We You don't get the pleasure of seeing the Terror Wave, John.
No, not now. Gonna have to wait until the Metamorphosis is back up. And Adroit once again just pull back, refresh. They've got BKB on Mac now, so he's gonna be much happier to just stand in front, do his damage, doesn't have to worry about the magic damage coming out or the control. He still isn't the tankiest DP just yet, but you're reaching that point where you're not going to be bursting down Mac all too fast anymore. So Adroit do have a lot more leeway here in how these fights do break out. And
It's just the
looks like he might
sniper, right? Like,
Definitely,
once you've
it's
got rid
just
of the
him.
sniper, it's all good.
Yeah, it's really just our MLP. Like, Gabby has a Yasha on top of the Diffusal. That's nice. Not enough.
Oh, KP. Lassoed up by Bok, does go down, and now they want to go for more. They pop the Exorcism and they found March. There's just sentries everywhere. CML has ensured that none of this map does not have detection. And now they can claim another tier 2 tower, and this is the final outer tower on the map. You don't have Metamorphosis, but you will have it in 30 seconds. No need to rush. Mac will be able to get it. Gabby was trying to go for the deny play, but doesn't quite get there in time. And it's going to be a 13-21, but more importantly, John, 6k net worth lead for the side of Adroit. All outer towers down. In TNC, they are certainly on the back foot.
Definitely are. This is where they're going to shine. High ground defense with a sniper. It's one of those things where it can kind of be impregnable. The only thing that, I mean, at the very least, Adroit do have the Bat Rider and Tusk to deal with that. Those heroes can kind of get that done. I love the build-up from Boomy as well, straight into the Ags after that blink. So they can kick the sniper back if for some reason they can't get their Bat Rider lasso in place. Or, you know, go back, kick back the sniper, get the Ricky on lasso if you have detection, and you suddenly take out those two big cores. TNC still have been kind of waiting around, right? We expected them to be a bit more aggressive with attracts, to try to build up that way. They really haven't. They haven't been able to isolate Adroit enough to really build off Widow's track kills. That is causing them to play from behind. And you do have decent farm on Armel. Like, he has that Mjolnir up, and he is starting to be that machine gun sniper we all know and hate to play against. But he's going to need a bit more there.
It seems as though Boomy is just always the one, you know, having to take the riskiest to farm, and he continues to get caught out, but you know what? I don't think Boomy cares. Like, Boomy's just getting levels, he's getting a bit of farm, he knows his life is really worth nothing. It's fine. Though Bok, however, would be a problem if he died, but should be fine as well. He does 4-star from Blink away, and it looks like he is going to be out of range. And in case Adroit did not have enough of a lead, John, Natsumi finds the Paladin Sword.
Yeah, just blessed. Every single time, you know, every single time we cast a game, a core gets the tier 3, it's almost always a Paladin Sword onto the hardcore. So, nice little pickup for Natsumi. Gives him a lot more utility, lots more to play with, so much more durability just with that lifesteal onto him. Do we have the Spirit Vessel yet? No. No Spirit Vessel up on March yet, so you're getting a lot of value from that item. Not going to be mitigated just yet from anything like that coming out anytime soon.
I think it's about time that Armel gets an Eye of Skadi. That's what I think. Armel, you've spent enough time with this Mjolnir. Forget about the Lincoln Sphere, sir. In fact, never mind that. Bok gets a lasso off onto Tims, and, well, poor Tims can't do anything about it. He'll try to force stuff and actually does run away, but Boomy knocks him out with the uppercut.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And with that, another support off the board. Well, TNC, in all fairness, they aren't hiding in their base or anything like that. They are still roaming the map quite confidently. March, they know he's there. They'll get the Yules off eventually, and March doing his best to die as much as possible. In all fairness, it does give his other cores space to just farm up safely. He's just tanking the gank, John.
Definitely. We've seen that. It's the same story with Boomy. It's the same story with March and Tim. You know, they're giving space to their cores. They're doing their job. And a rough situation all around for both sides. So if someone's going to die, it might as well be the supports. You know, you expend that lasso for a Grimstroke, you're not too upset. You expend a lot of spells for March, who was just standing in that dire jungle for a very long time. You're not going to be. That's time wasted from Adroit. That's time you bought for TNC. Although the Roshan's going to be up soon, and I believe that's what Adroit is going to be looking at next.
I love the fact that I look at Boomy and he's just going straight for an Aghanim Scepter, by the way.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
against the sniper, you've got Blink Ags. Like, you may as well just blink and kick him forward. You know?
Oh, block.
Yeah, against KP again. This is not going to be the easiest kill in the world. Of course, KP does have Dark Rift, though he can't really pop it. Smokescreen going to help him out, though not enough. Boomy just preemptively popping a dust to see if he can find Gabby. Mac almost finds him. But Gabby will be able to get away just in time. And March will also run for his life. You know what? They really aren't giving March a break. Like, he's still trying to finish off that Spirit Vessel. But every time you look at him, he's got a fresh set of Sentry Wards. Like, just let the man finish the item first.
He can't. He can't. Someone's going to have to play this Warden game that Adroit's playing. We mentioned it at draft, but Adroit gets so much value from buying these sentries out. They can see 2 heroes potentially scouting around, take out the vision as well. You just get so much utility from that set because there are 2 Invis heroes on TNC's side. And so that's the main reason why CML is just perfectly glad to be very poor. All he has is a Ghost Scepter, which is a bit of a luxury for a support like him anywhere. So he has a way of saving himself if he's jumped by the Riki, or even just targeted by the Sniper. He has some way of mitigating some of that damage, and once more, Adroit will be able to take this Roach for free. Second Roach of the game. That is the cheese as well. So you're going to have to deal with a lot of lives here on Adroit. You've got the False Promise to worry about, the Sunder from Natsumi, the Aegis now as well, and the cheese.
That's a problem. So I had a quick gander at Tim John's. He's going for an Aghanim Scepter. So something tells me he probably could afford to get some wards and give March a bit of a break, but can't have that as a position 4. And I suppose with that Ink Portrait, it is going to be rather effective if you can get a copy of the Terrorblade. So
Definitely would be. But you have to remember, Terrorblade could just kind of burst it down with, I believe, Reflection should affect that?
Or
Not
March.
entirely sure.
Oh, that's a bit of a mistake, March. No wonder he has no gold, John. He's put 2 Sentry Wards down in the same spot.
Oh. 2 eyes to see with, Mike.
2 eyes to see with, indeed. That explains a lot. I think he thought he had an Observer Ward there to put like a Tinker Ward down, but turns out he did not.
I like that play. I'm not sure if you caught it, but March just went in when he saw Natsumi around, throws out the Shuriken, TP's out after taking the range creep. That's all he can do. He can't risk it. You know, he's tired of dying.
Dota's all about the little things, John. And, well, March does the little things very, very well. He just did. They add up. These small little efficiency plays do add up in the end. March gonna run into Boomy now. Boomy happily gonna run forward onto March. They know he's around there somewhere. They get the Warrior's Punch off and March just melts. Just can't take the damage.
Oh man, I love this item build-up from Natsumi. Went straight for the Butterfly this time around. No MKB, and that's not going to be out in Armel or Gabby anytime soon. They just can't prioritize it.
We'll have a quick look at the win probability while we're here as well. And you know what? It's only sitting at 73% as Bok gets a lasso off. He caught Gabby on the Riki, the Manta. He will be able to walk away for now, and Blink strikes away as well. A close call. But now Natsumi, he's onto the tier 3 tower. They repair kit. Who's jumped in? It's Mac. He wasn't done. He got Gabby on the Riki just in front of his fountain, and now they found Armel. They don't have the Ags yet, but Natsumi's coming and he's trapped in the shards right in front of his fountain. How dare they? So the buyback will come out from Armel. They do find Boomy as a trade, and Adroit, they're happy with the buyback committal. They will back off.
That's a pretty successful defense from TNC. Like, no objectives fell. None of the towers even took significant damage here. So it did cost them a buyback, but Adroit's keenness to find that fight does kind of cost them objectives. Still, they pull back, they can reset. They know Armel won't have a second life for a little bit longer, around 7.5 minutes. Although that might buy TNC enough time to farm up for that MKB. Armel does do it up next, and that should be a good way to deal with that Terrorblade now.
You say Armel's getting a BKB, John? Looks like he's getting a Divine
MKB.
Rapier.
Oh, he switched. All right. Sweet. I mean, yeah, Sniper Divine Rapier, natural combination. You know,
Even better.
You could still deal with that TB.
Yeah.
It all works out quite fine that way. Gonna need some time to build up for it. Like that's not the fastest farm up, but if they prioritize all their farm on him as they have, he'll probably have it in around 3 to 4 minutes. If he gets that free time. Adroit, they've got to understand that they have a massive opening while that buyback status is off for him.
Well, Adroit, they're rotating top. They see the side of TNC. Can they get anything out of this? Everyone TPing. Bok, he's looking with the Firefly, and he may find KP, and KP does get the Dark Rift, but the lasso comes out from Bok. The Dark Rift should get him out. So at least you get a nice lasso wasted. Well, now you know exactly where the side of Adroit are. Though March, still alone, but there's no detection on Mac. And for once, March will be able to run out safely.
Rather unfortunate. I mean, you know, March is not worth too much. You kill the guy, it doesn't matter. He's just happier time. I'm unsure if he's actually finished up the Spirit Vessel because he's queued up the Force Staff instead. So, not quite sure if he's finished it and it's in the courier just waiting to fly out. But if he does have that Spirit Vessel, you are mitigating a lot of what's keeping Adroit up. All the regen suddenly isn't as effective as it was before.
That is if he survives, which is I think is the problem with March, is like, how long am I going to be available in a team fight anyway to have that aura going? And well, Adroit, smoking up now mid lane, they want to try and go for something. You do have the meta, you do have Exorcism, and they're starting to move forward. A smoke up from TNC now, they don't want to reveal where they are. Meanwhile, Natsumi, he does finish off an Eye of Skadi on the Terrorblade, so you have that available. That is the new Eye of Skadi. Lasso. Bok, who is he found? It's going to be KP on the Underlord. They really don't want this Underlord surviving through the next team fight, and he has no buyback. He doesn't have the gold for it. That'll be the first T3 tower of the game going down, and Natsumi will take the melee barracks very, very quick. They'll try to repair kit, but it just does nothing.
Straight in, next objective. It's really easy. You've got that Terrorblade, you've got Mega up, although they are playing a bit more cautious. They do not have the lasso. They almost have a kick on Boomy, but not quite. 300 gold until the Ag's out. And of course he has to ferry that out anyway, so gonna play a bit more cautiously without that catch. And it's gonna be happy with one set of racks. First racks of the game, going the way of Adroit. Does give him a lot more control. 22k net worth lead. TNC still lagging severely behind. Armel is inching closer towards his Divine, though.
Is that going to make... I mean, it's going to make a huge difference for TNC, because then it's going to be like, how do you breach the high ground? But once you have that Tusk Ags up, like, Boomy's been real on point with this Tusk play today. It feels like as soon as you get kicked away, the game's kind of over. Like, once the Divine's gone, that's it.
That it's something that TNC has to be cautious about. Even without that kick, right? You have the lasso that Bok has. If they really need to target Armel down, they've got the lasso anyway. They've just got the backup in Boomy now as well, so they can take riskier plays. I believe it's flying out right now, so you're gonna have that tool for the next high ground siege.
Very nice. There it is. Boomy does have the Ags up. They will spot out March, taking the outpost, and they're going to try and take it back in time, but Boomy, he says no. I'm sick of March. I want him dead. That's exactly what Boomy does. He'll take out the Bounty Hunter once again. They do manage to get the outpost back before that 40-minute mark ticks. And speaking of 40-minute mark, John, we do have tier 4 items.
Oh yeah. A lot of them popping out. Ninja gear being dropped by Natsumi. I believe he just sends it back. isn't keen to use that himself, because the Paladin Sword is just a bit too... that innate lifesteal without taking up an extra slot, lots of value in that.
You wouldn't mind keeping the Illusionist Cape on the Terrorblade, though. And
Oh,
he
yeah,
does.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Just gives you a lot more from those illusions. They already hit like trucks. So when Metamorphosis up, you pop that Manta, you pop the Conjure Image, you will basically melt all those towers.
You know what? I thought Adroit, they may wait for the next Roshan, but no, they want to go now. Mel has the Divine Rapier up, however. Bok blinks in, couldn't quite find the lasso. The tier 3 being healed up by that repair kit. They'll commit to Fortify. It's not going to be the easiest high ground, as that Divine makes it very, very hard. Back, get rooted up. He'll be alright for now. He'll use those spider legs and walk away, although I can't say the same for CML. He does end up dying by Gabby. Still Natsumi will turn around. There's the fear coming up from Natsumi, but it was a bit too late. And without that Oracle, I don't think you make the push any longer, and they do back out.
Now, a lot of caution here from Adroit. You can see that the investment into Armel is paying off. So they've got high ground defense 4 days. They can't manage to save their tier 3s. The racks are still up and standing. And TNC is going to be very happy with how that went so far. Adroit's going to have to wait until the next Metamorphosis is up. So there's going to be some downtime for them. And that's something that TNC can maximize. Trying to group up around a Roche, but that's still about a minute off. Not going to be able to find that just yet.
TNC now feeling much more comfortable across the map, however. And, well, they'll take over the Dire Jungle for a little bit. They'll get a few more tier 4 items. In fact, Witless Shaco, a very nice item for KB, who's really hasn't been as tanky as you would have liked to see from an Underlord. And now, Adroit, smoked up. They're going to scout out that Roshan pit, though it is about 10 seconds away from respawning. It's going to be an extremely important Roshan for this next high ground attempt for Adroit. And TNC, I don't think they can really afford to allow it to go down to Adroit. I think they have to fight this.
Definitely. They've got some tools to help them out here. Like, we haven't mentioned it, but Gabby does have the Nullifier, so it gets a lot easier for him to trap someone in his Tricks of the Trade. Gets much easier to burst people down. They really can't escape. Not even that Ghost Scepter is going to save anyone. So, if he can catch the back line, there's no way for CML to save himself in that case. And I think that's going to be key for TNC. We saw what happened when Adroit lost their Oracle early on. They become hesitant to fight. They just always have to try to find CML in the back. With that Nullifier, it should be pretty easy work for Gabby.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Oh, Tim's gonna lose his point booster in the courier. Yeah, he was about 100 gold off the Aghanim Scepter, but now with that point booster down, even once he does have the gold, it's going to be gone for 3 minutes. And Adroit, they will get started on the Roshan.
Ag Blessing in there as well. Wonder who they're going to prioritize it on. Perhaps Bat Rider for the lasso chain?
I mean, you wouldn't
they
mind
just
giving it
max.
to the DP, right? Like,
yeah, the damage is pretty nice. I'd say the utility from a double lasso is much stronger at this point, but it really depends on what they want more.
oh, it looks like they've actually given it to Natsumi. Natsumi will send his Ags back. Wait, where is the Ags?
It's still in his backpack.
Okay, he's got it in the backpack. So he took the blessing. He's got the Ags in the backpack. Gonna sell that back. That is a pretty greedy play to say the least. But I suppose there aren't really the best Aghanim Scepter upgrades in the team. And in fact, bot lane, they found KP. Kick him back towards zone outpost. And Natsumi's gonna TP in.
This extra slot on Natsumi has got to pay off, right? Like, I think there is a lot of value in just giving... Oh, actually, Bok already has one. He has a blessing as well. Okay.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
So you do have the Ags up. Side device now also up on Mac. And they're going to make the push. Natsumi, top racks, it will go down very, very easily. And Exorcism will be popped straight down to the bot lane. Armel smoked up with his team, but it is already broken. Mac gonna move in, and Gabby will jump straight in, forcing the BKB out of Mac, but now the side device onto Gabby. He gets 4-star forward. The Pit of Malice is gonna be quite nice, but you've really only caught the task. And nobody ends up dying thanks to that false promise from CML. And Natsumi is still hitting away at that tower. What do you do about this? That's Megas. Of course, TNC may go for a find. Yeah, Gabby, he jumps in with the nullify with the smoke screen, but there is an Aegis, and now the double lasso coming out. Out from Bok. That's going to be devastating here for TNC, as they're going to lose one in our mill. They'll lose the Grimstroke as well. Both buy back, but now March has died back on the Bounty Hunter. Can they find KP a second time? They can't for now. The Soulbind comes out from Tims with the double silence and the TB stunner for low. He sunders his darn Death Prophet Mac. He doesn't have Aegis, so he can't really risk dying. False promise, going to keep him alive. He's going to try and TP, but the Pit of Malice KP going to keep him in. They're going to find a huge kill onto Natsumi. But you've lost Mega Creeps. It's tough.
It's a hard situation for TNC, right? Like, they had to expend the buybacks again. I believe they're going to be down on the next defense. It's going to be much harder for them. No buybacks left? Yeah, no buybacks left in any of them. There is gold lacking for Gabby's buyback as well, so he's going to need to farm up to get that up and running. I mean, they do manage to get a big kill in at least cleaning up that Terrorblade, his second time to die, but they're going to have to try to find an objective here. There's no Roshan, so all they can really hope for is to put the tower down.
Where did Armel's Divine go? It's on the Tusk.
Oh,
that's right. He did die. He did buy back, but
Yeah.
Boomy has the Divine on the Tusker.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Yeah, that's going to be painful. Just blink in and punch.
Kicks him back. KP loses almost half his HP from that. Pit of Malice going to be there, though. You don't want to give that Divine back, but KP, give him the Walrus Punch. There it is, losing a lot more HP as well. KP will survive through it, as Natsumi now will move in with the Fear, though Soulbind is going to come out. The Ink Portrait, did he actually get one? He did. It does end up killing CML. That Portrait does hit hard, but not hard enough, as now Boomy is continuing to chase. Gabby does not want to get punched in the face right now, but it looks like he has no choice. He gets punched. The Divine is gone on Boomy, but the GG's been called anyway. The game's over. Who ended up with the Divine in the end anyway? It was the Terrorblade. He does end up grabbing it.
Adroit just really giving it to TNC. It looked like TNC had a couple of things going for themselves. The last pick Sniper was definitely a bit of a surprise, but in the end, Adroit just gets everything they want from the game. TNC really invested in a lot of early aggression. They shafted March way too hard, and that was a big factor. They never got a good timing on their Bounty Hunter. They never built up through those track kills, and when you have a Bounty Hunter in draft, with a Riki, with a Sniper, you need to build up with those early kills. It never happened for TNC. They went for the desperation play with that Divine. Doesn't pay off. Adroit does clean it up.
Well, with that, John, of course, we are going to have our second game of this best of 3 coming up in about 10 minutes from now. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll see you all again when that draft does begin, and we'll see how game number 2 turns out. Won't be too long.